Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. I'm Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Panthera. May you all be well. Okay. We're going to check in on the vibes, see what is going on. The moon is in Sagittarius? Aries? Aries. Why did I say Sagittarius? But Nine of Wands. Someone can unsee something they've seen. Allow it to come to the surface so you can wipe it clean. It sounds as though I got sinus out to it for real. Is it up on the Wi-Fi? Yeah. $5.49. So it could be good. Figure of speech. Let's see something. About to say, yo, it's been quite frequent that I go on this live. Cappy walking by. Shout out to the ancestors and the spirit guides. Love you. I love you. We are starting this probably at 4 minutes and 30 seconds while I get all this stuff here situated. All right. Yeah, the moon's in Aries. 10 degrees. What planetary hour we in? I love it. I love it. So when we just started it, Saturn hour. Let's go. Okay, even better. Yeah. I see what you did there, Source. I see what you did there. Uh-huh. I see what you did there. Why did this even pull up that way anyway? Oh, because it's 225 degrees. That's why I said the moon in Sag. Okay. Let's get into it, y'all. So, here we are with your energy update, starting this around 5 minutes. The moon is in Aries while the sun is in Cancer. Emotions connecting you to your identity. Love to see it. The flame of shared embodiment. Following the flame. Heart-led sovereignty. With the sun in Cancer, what, 24? That's Pisces. Heart-led sovereignty, emotional security through divine nourishment. The moon in Aries at 10 degrees brings forth emotional instincts. Sharpened toward action, movement, and initiation. Mercury in Leo, 15 degrees. The mind speaks boldly from the inner child or royal self. 15 is Gemini degree. Mars in Virgo. Precision in sacred routines and refining physical vitality. The transmission of warrior wisdom. Hard-won lessons that were gained through different or direct, rather, experience. Through direct pain, through direct courage or confrontation. Lessons, hard-won lessons that were gained through what's coming through there. The fact that the moon and Sag 9 of Wands came up at the very beginning, and hard-won lessons that were gained through a confrontation. So the duality of something, experiencing some sort of discomfort, connects you to a solution that comes through as divine intervention, in a sense, a miracle per se. Yeah. So let's say you're in a position where you have some type of, you may be experiencing some sort of battle. And as the saying goes, choose your battles wisely. Okay? Be sure to respond to whatever this situation is, from looking at the details as well as the bigger picture. Because a gift can come out of this if you take the higher road, per se. 555 right now. It's gonna assist you in being a guide where this situation becomes a beacon for you. At first it scorched you, but it also showed you that you were the phoenix. That type of energy. It scorched you, but the way you came out of it, it showed you that you are the phoenix. Especially when you move in a way of you got nothing to prove. You have nothing to prove. Because you're in a position to embody. Because the fire that you could be experiencing through this situation can either heal you or not. And the healing comes through and you channel that energy through love. Channeling that energy through love can also come across as passion or an expression through passion. Not so much anger, but to the surrounding energies, it may seem as though it is a response or reaction of anger. Let me see if there's anything else. This is a moment to process revelations in a disseminating moon phase through integration and storytelling from an experience you've lived. The sharing of wisdom harvested through the full moon or during the full moon as a result of releasing attachments to the outcome and trusting the ripple effect. Let me see. What's the galactic signature today? The White Planetary Wizard, Kin 114. John Lennon's song is on this list for the White Planetary Wizard playlist. The song Imagine. Okay. That's the 4D. Heart chakra. The process of crystallization before the birth of unconditional love. 5D. I perfect in order to enchant. Producing receptivity, I seal the output to timelessness with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of spirit. Spirits is alcohol, but it's also the first 4 letters connected to alchemy. The process of changing nothing into something. Lead to gold. Struggles to a win. Poverty to infinite prosperity. Sickness to amazing health. Guided by the power of spirit. Another one. The butterfly and the sheep with the owl at the bottom of the deck. Mind, body, and soul transformation due to compassion, gentleness, and youthfulness. Calm, observant, and wise. That's the heart chakra here energy too with the owl. Listening to your heart. I'm seeing somebody get very still before making a decision. Amazing work. Amazing actions. Slowing down to respond. Because now you are Saturn, with Saturn being in retrograde. You are that teacher right now. You are that. You are that elder. Wilder. Things are getting wilder for you. It's coming through more so as you trust in your gut instinct, which is also in connection to you tuning into your higher self. Not second guessing. The second guessing is connected to protecting yourself to not experience a wound that you may have experienced before something's coming to the surface for you to take the appropriate action, which is responding to a situation. The message of the butterfly, you are being guided to embrace change and detach from what no longer serves you. Begin now to recognize your own beauty and elegance, and the world will do the same. The world is reflecting itself back to you. That's usually the way it is. But you're seeing someone is being able to slow down and see what that means, which now gives you the ability of response. It puts you in a state of responsibility. Literally, response is an ability. Superpower indeed. The sheep, compassionate, gentle, and youthful. You are being guided to have gratitude for all that is in your life, because that's what's turning on for you. When you step into the essence of gratitude, you notice that the universe gives you more to be grateful for. So something has to come to the surface that does the complete opposite. It doesn't have to, but if it has, that's the reason for it. Because it's not your first rodeo with this energy either. Especially when it comes to who you are, the way you see yourself. Especially in matters of leadership, taking the lead for yourself. Doing things that places you in a position to not suppress your energy, where now that fire is flowing through you in a toxic way. And now on a physical standpoint, it's causing pain in the body or some sort of, that type of stuff you could avoid by moving from a space that's connected to your wisdom and not your trauma. That's the journey of Saturn right now. To get you to a space of, Saturn in retrograde is getting you into a space of, responding from wisdom and not from trauma, wounds, pain, regret, guilt, shame, all of that. Attachment, lies, grief. Is bringing all that has to come to the surface that you would usually respond from those avenues, bringing it up so that way that whole entire vicinity environment of that energy can be demolished, dissolved. Okay? Begin today to walk your new path. Remove any unproductive relationships and connect with your authentic self. You are a kind and compassionate person who shines brightly. Yeah. This is an energy of someone who, you're very powerful. You allow others to shine, but you may have experienced situations where that wasn't reciprocated and people feel some type of way about who you are, to the point that they may want to place themselves in a position where they feel that they have control of you, So you got here the butterfly and the sheep showing up. And notice all the colors of the chakras on both of them too. The owl, calm, observant, and wise. You are being guided to find serenity and stillness. Yeah. This is an energy of someone experiencing what it means to be tuned in and tapped into your heart chakra. You also feel the sensation of, because of that, you also feel the sensation of a warrior. What do I mean by that? You know your power, so you choose your battles wisely, to the point that you don't have to fight any battles. You're designed for things that are much greater when it comes time for you to step into that mode of authority. Although your inner authority should always be on, but what I mean here is more so what it is that you're called to protect, not so much overprotect, starting with yourself. The answer to any question is inside you. You are the magic key that unlocks the doors. When you hear that, you are the answer to any question inside you. Have you fully tapped into the questions inside you to recognize the answers you do have? Because in order to even connect to a question to see the answer, you would have to have a high level of self-worth, because I'm getting the energy of the keys as one of the keys of the Hierophant, which holds the keys of unraveling the mystery of life. There may have been an overusage of one of the keys, the logic standpoint, and not so much a use of the intuitive side. But there seems to be a connection that is happening now, especially with the owls showing up and the song Imagine here on this playlist for the White Planetary Wizard by John Lennon. He did have a child that passed away, so that could be of significance too, where some of you are moving past the pain from that experience. I want to look more into this here, because this is something. You are the magic key that unlocks the doors to unconditional love, balance, and abundance in your life. The sound that I'm hearing right now is usually the sound that comes on in the change of the next period when you're in school, junior high school, even depending on where you went to school at. But that sound, that I'm hearing that in the background right now. So there could be a change in, it's a change in period. 522 for some of you divine feminines, that women, goddesses, there may have been a shift in your menstrual cycle. Get familiar with the cycle it has entered to show you where you're at energetically, emotionally. Okay. Get more in tune with your own clock, because it changes when you go through different experiences. And it can tell you a lot in regards to whether you reacted to a situation or you responded to it. Because if you have it from in between the wanting phases, which is more so about release, or the energy going into a new phase from the full to a noon, the energy heightens from the new to a full, per se. Just in terms of, full light to no light, or ramping up the energy, slowing it down, or releasing, or gaining. No moon to full, gaining. Full to new, releasing. Just to give you an idea, general idea. Speaking of change, the ladybug is over here. 6:11 on the time. The ladybug represents personality change and happiness. So something could be fleeting. Something is fleeting. You're being guided to move in a new direction. Your new life begins today. Embrace this new transformation and navigate your way towards your heart's desires. Believe in yourself and the divine, and you will manifest amazing things. It says believe in yourself, others, and the divine. But the guidance was to not mention others. You may have been doing that a little bit too much, which is stripping you away from going within. The answers to any question, as the owl said, is inside you. Okay? Buddha. I am in my center. Okay? Geronimo, Mother Earth runs in my blood. So there's a lot that's changing for you at the root. I am in my center. Something about Florida could be significant. You may have recently visited Florida or thinking about moving there. That's the heart center, chakra-wise. Moving into the heart, relocating to the heart, okay? Relocating to what you love. That's the way it feels here. A lot of these adjustments that you are doing to step into what allows you to be and feel secure, rooted and grounded, especially once you have mastered the lesson. I feel the way the mastery of a lesson is because something with the Saturn retrograde comes to the surface for you to recognize where you're at. Obviously, look at it this way. With Saturn in retrograde, right? This is just what I'm feeling from it as I'm talking to y'all. You'll know that you are overcoming whatever your situation is that's coming to the surface based on the house that it's in for you. Doesn't have to just be just that, but you'll see why is that coming through this way. You'll see an immediate shift. A change comes through that you've been desiring. And it's as though this Saturn retrograde places you in a position to reward yourself the moment you make the moment you make or take a responsible decision about it. Because once again, when Saturn's retrograde, it's basically you becoming that teacher from the inside out. You are the elder at this point. You can call in divine intervention, aka a miracle, into your life when you make a decision that is in connection to your wisdom, not your wounds or your ego. Okay? So give me an example that you want me to describe here for the collective. Give me an example. Greetings. Give me an example. 616. 616 is 10 of swords, but well, whatever example better than that. Let's see what this is. The 2 of Wands. Oh shit, even better. Mars and Aries. Okay, so yeah. Was this the World card, the Sun card with the Hermit, and the 2 of Cups too? You could be seeing a lot of 2s. So an example of this would be where normally you would possibly go off on somebody that you know has betrayed you. But instead, you observe the situation. You get calm. You observe. And this observation allows you to now ask yourself, what could that person possibly be experiencing that they move this way towards self, towards another, towards you collective? And where are you at in regards to what allows this energy to be present in your reality, in the sense of there's a vibrational match within your auric field that welcomes this type of experience. Instead of Mars and Aries, Mars is a warrior, okay? God of war energy, rules the sign of Aries. Ask source for an example. You probably could be somebody that would easily, tell somebody to shut the fuck up real quick. However, you will that energy in and you just interlock the fingers. And just imagine the way it'll pan out both ways. Where you look at it from a higher perspective and where you may slap the shit out of somebody. You know what I'm saying? And you choose the high road. Not realizing that when you choose the high road, let's say you were waiting for a message to come in about, an approval on something. It comes in immediately after because of the way you responded to that. Although this situation, you may feel as though it got no connection to whatever this other shit is that's going on. But it does energetically. Because that experience comes up to the surface to test the way you are receptive to energy in general. So that way, whatever it is that you placed out into the universe for you to receive great news from, you can now receive it because you place yourself in the receptive, container. You place yourself in a receptive container, so that way you can be reborn into the essence of what that means to experience that in this physical realm. Where now you are open and receptive to a vibrational match of higher energy, unconditional love, rather than your wants and needs and hopes. Because the other side, if one would have reacted to a situation, Mars and Aries, is on some I wish a motherfucker would type of vibe. And they, like, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. So, with the owl's message here, when you slow down and you get calm, you can even hear that in this type of example where somebody may go beside themselves, literally go beside themselves. That's a whole lot being said in itself right there. They go beside themselves, which means they step away from their heart. They step away from their alignment. You can sense that when you get calm, cool, and observant. Yes, you still got that fire pumping through you where you want to knock somebody the fuck out or tell them about themselves. And in some cases, you may have to, but that's all we talk about right now. That's not what we talk about right now, okay? We awesome. This is really for those where you may have a tendency to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. 333. Okay? Doesn't matter who it is. And they may not... Or you could be around someone in this type of energy. And you're constantly telling them, yo, chill. You gotta chill. But they don't listen. You need to take several steps back, out, and away, okay? So you don't pick up the karmic lesson that they are perfectly brewing for themselves. Get it? You may love this person, but this ain't the time for that. Okay? Nope. Remove any unproductive relationships and connect with your authentic self. Okay? Yes. Now, Let's get some Celtic spread love going. Before that, let me see. Let me look at your surrender message. Every little step you take matters, counts. It's important to be wise. Surrender message. Let's see. You know who you have within the collective source, okay? Look at here. Tell somebody you gotta chill. Surrender the need, your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Now, solar plexus energy. Because right now, the candle just went off, 6:24. Right now, I'm being shown in a scenario where someone is tuning into astrology and you told someone about it and they gave you a backhanded response on some, you shouldn't be believing in that shit. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Just let them okay? Because if you go to the message of the retrograde, going through all the signs, let me see specifically. Because this would be something in regards to the 9th house. Oh. Leo. Can't nobody love me better than yourself, Leo. Saturn wants you to walk your talk. Be the embodiment of your wisdom, spiritual authority. 9th house vibes. But we're speaking to that astrological nature. 11th house vibes. Aquarius. Gemini. Saturn is bringing you structure to your higher mission. Now, one is fixed, one is mutable. That could be the situation here, where someone is fixed in a certain ideology and you collective are the one that's willing to go through the changes in order to connect to your higher mission, or even just the essence of that verbiage. Because to some people, you'll tell them that you have a higher self. It's still not, something that they are aware of, and that's okay. Let them be where they're at. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships, because some of you here are literally being guided to take the higher road, which is just you. You make the adjustments. You become that change embodiment. So you can surrender to joy. Wow. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. What brings joy to you? What makes you laugh? What brings laughter into your life? What reduces that? Whatever reduces that, that's where you got to exit. Okay? Even if it's just for a moment. Indulge in random acts of smiling during both the hard and easy times. Keep surrendering to more joy. Finally saying no where you used to say yes. Just to people please. Just not to have someone feeling some type of way. Yeah, because some of you could be going back and forth, conversation or arguing with somebody, proving a point, and it's really not what you are here for at this time. That's not the vibe right now. Embodiment is not proving a point. So with that being said, what have you decided to do just to prove a point? And ask yourself if this is something you truly desire and you embody to do without having to prove a point, because that would eventually show you that this is no longer something for you to be doing. Yeah. Let go of the need of others to get it, and instead become the living scroll encoded, living scroll of encoded embodiment. Hold on. Whenever you speak, don't speak to be understood. Speak because it ignites your remembrance, your soul journey. The reason why you're being asked also to surrender to joy, because it brings you laughter, because that's a transmutation tool too. It'll shake off a lot of these energies that are sitting stagnant. Okay, surrender denial. Accept people and situations exactly as they are, without denying the difficulties. Accept people and situations exactly as they are, without denying the difficulties of what it is that you are accepting about people and situations exactly as they are. Because then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions, okay? Because some of you have been ignoring the proper response just to get others to get where you're coming from. A lot of these yellow cards showing up. Orange, yellowish. Surrender to rest and sleep to prevent burnout. Whenever you experience burnout, it's because you're out of alignment, though. That's when that happens. You're no longer, or being guided to no longer invest your energy in something that takes you away from what you know you really should be doing. Show me why is this coming out? Show me why is this coming out here for the collective? If you feel a pull to share your story publicly, go for it. Especially when it comes to what you've learned, what you've remembered thus far. Smelling syrup, maple syrup. Maple. Number 116, 282, 47. You're seeing the sweetness of coming out of Babylon, coming out of the doorway of confusion. Let's just see if it comes out. Ooh, awareness. Wow. You're aware now. Okay. You're aware of what religion is, the depths of it. Maple and gematria is also vibrationally connected to feet, which is Pisces. Does it say, it says ping. Oh. Something here regarding the feet. Pisces rules the feet. A lack of balance is due to someone's feet. Working on your feet can help you with what it is that stands on it. Balancing your feet, working with your feet to find balance. Foundations, look at this, foundations and achievements, 4 of Wands. Yeah, something in regards to someone is ignoring that this out of balance energy has now resulted in some sort of foot matter. Or anytime you're being guided ping, you get this ping in your foot. Every time you're being guided to take a different path, the different path is going within and reflecting. Because again, Pisces is the feet, 12th house, which is about rejuvenation and burnout. Yeah, okay. You could even, you could even be on the phone with someone that you may have built a foundation with, or you used to grow, or you grew up with, and for some reason, whenever you talk to this person, something occurs in your foot. There's this feeling you get in your foot. It's letting you back up, okay? Back all the way up from that, okay? Because it's draining your vibe. Foundations and achievements, and then balance, 411. There you go, the information, 636. Yeah, literally. There's a connection that has to be severed because there's sirens, Archangel Michael energy. And look at this balance that we got here. Someone could be 40 or in your 40s. Angels talk to you. Sun in Pisces, 636 in gematria. Literally says Sun in Pisces. Somebody could be a Pisces. It's 88 degrees here, and it's also connected to number 888. Sun in Pisces. The name Brittany is on here. They could be a host of people's sin, a host of not hitting the target. And the ping shows up in your foot whenever this energy is around. Doesn't have to be a Pisces, but 12th house energy is basically saying to go within. It's okay. What's the challenge of these foundations and achievements here? Venus and Aries, self-worth when it comes to your identity. What's the challenge here? Self-worth when it comes to your identity, not really feeling supported and celebrated, you've accomplished so much. And you may not feel as though, because you may not have people around, or when you do, it doesn't feel as though they're actually celebrating you. Allow that to come to the surface. The recognition that this energy is showing up in your, energetic space. And again, the Saturn retrograde is bringing things to the surface for you to clear it. Let's look more into this. What's the challenge here? Suffering in silence, Nine of Swords. Literally that then. Well, all right. Mars and Gemini. There could be something you're about to celebrate, and you are in your head about whether to invite someone. That's sign number one. The fact that you have to question their energy being around, especially if you are already aware. You may have grown up with this person, because I just sensed the baby voice come through. The expression of the way a baby would say that, aware. You may have been in question about bringing someone around or inviting them to something, because it always turns into shit every time they're around. You don't need another example of that happening, though. 52:44 on the timer. Five is connected to the Hierophant, which is Taurus. The fifth sign, when you're speaking of the 12, is Leo. 2, you have Taurus and the High Priestess. There's a hidden enemy version of you that's coming up to finally be released. That person is a host of that energy as well. You may already know this, though, because with the challenge showing up as the Nine of Swords, suffering in silence, it's speaking to you are not able to say what you have to say to bring forth the change. 9 and the 4. Saying something that may cause a separation or that change. 9 and 4, 13. Oh. 5 of Pentacles. Financial and material changes, which is that being left out in the cold type of vibes. Yeah. This could be a scenario where you're there for others more than you are for yourself. And you do that because of guilt. Six, 4, 2. Literally guilt. 6, 4, 2. You ignore what you clearly know. Your mind's eye. 6th chakra. You go against the message of your heart, the 4th chakra, because of guilt, which blocks the sacral. So September to November, when Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, that's the reworking of boundaries. And the question of where have you overextended out of guilt? September 4th could be significant because it's literally 9 here and 4. 9/4 to 9/13. Hold on. Show me 9/4 to 9/13. Don't deceive yourself. 7 of Swords when I picked up the deck. Page of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. You can sense this in your bones, that this possible offer that you normally would say yes to, overextending out of guilt, you can feel it in your body now, even more so that it's something that you are not to be going towards. Okay, let's see. Show me 9/4 to 9/13. 9/4, 9/5, 9/9. Show me. It came out as challenging. Wow. The card of emotional fulfillment. 10 of Cups. In matters of love. Mars and Pisces. There's not an alignment of beliefs, which is bringing forth this type of challenge. Another 10, 10, 10. Whoa, a major test where whenever you receive an offer or a request from someone that's been around you for years, that you have a quote-unquote strong bond with, and there are moments where you may have wanted to say no, ask yourself when they ask you a question. You don't have to respond to them right away. Ask yourself before you respond to them, are you overextending and saying yes out of guilt? And obviously, if the answer is yes, pull back. You know, allow yourself to really see who people are when you actually give them that no, okay? Yeah, 4 of Swords. So you can finally heal from this. This is the lesson you're being asked to integrate, so that way you can open up the door to partnerships that are much more harmonious and joyful. Jupiter and Libra. Specifically one-on-one. It's a vibe of being around someone that you want to take care of so much and make their life beautiful, but they keep shitting on it, willingly shitting on it. And you don't have to keep putting yourself through that. There's much better to experience, but you won't be able to if you are, you know, sitting in that funky ass energy. Pisces also talks about spiritual hygiene too. Show me more. 9/4 to 9/13. Or just Saturn retrograde and Pisces message just coming through very strongly right now. Because I'm telling you, that's going to be a major phase of this retrograde. Look at that shit. That's basically being around people who are in this hidden competition with you. You feel as though you love these energies. People be in relationships, karmic relationships, with the partner that's either outlandishly or secretly competing with them. Ain't shit cute or beautiful about that at all. Mars and Saturn showing up here. Someone's very controlling, but can't control themselves. Want to control other shit, but can't control themselves. 5 of Pentacles showing up again. The key is inside you. You think it's outside. And that's part of the problem. The whole problem. Ain't part. It's the whole problem. 522. Two of Wands showing up again. Mental conflict. 2014 could be significant. You've been patient, and the universe been knocking on your door this entire time between 2014, 2021. This could be a situation you're still in, and either energetically and physically, because you feel as though it's a fulfillment of a wish. You want fulfillment of your desires, though. Keep going against your gut instinct, and it keeps putting you back into the Five of Wands. Obstacles and challenges. You're not tired? Guess not. When you're tired, what you do? You go and get you some rest. You're gonna have to get you some rest at some point. Exhaustion obviously is not helping. Advice for this before we move on, as we're transmuting the energy and expressing what's going on here. Three of Pentacles. Be mindful who it is who wants to invest you. Be mindful as to who it is who wants to invest with you, in you, work with you. Some of you could be in a partnership with an actual person that is a significant other that is in competition with you, causing nothing but financial blockages. You have to stop being in this energy of holding it in, seeing if something's going to change. Just bringing forth nothing but mental conflict in this waiting game. What's on the way here behind this? Victory and success. Manifestation. Page of Pentacles. Waiting game. Yeah. See, there's a whole new world ready, willing, and waiting for it to open itself to you. But you're going to have to get out of this, whatever this situation is that you feel or think you're going to take with you in this next cycle. Because that shit is not happening. Because look at these two wands, three of wands is the Five of Wands again. That's Saturn and Leo, which is basically you placing yourself in an obstacle and challenge when it comes to what brings you joy. Another training season that you have already overcome. But it will come to the surface for you to see where your manifestations are being blocked. There goes this card, which is at your challenging position right now. Suffering in silence. Not no more. Not at this point. The way this message is coming out, this shit ain't silence, is loud and clear. Look at this. Five of Cups. Sorrow, pains, and regrets. Let that shit go so you can make a decision. There go the Ten of Swords. That was the example that wanted to come out. Well, it was 616 all the time. Obviously, you can take a lot, but you don't have to keep taking this shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. You make a decision to come up out of whatever this is you're suffering in silence about, these sorrow, pains, and regrets. Some of you are literally in situations because you're punishing yourself because of something you did in your past. I told you in the previous message, let that shit go. Let it go. You fucked up? All right. Let it go. Heal from it. Because all it's going to do is put you in situations where you feel as though you deserve to be in this because of what you did. But yeah, man. Let that shit go. Well, here goes divine intervention anyway. Let me see. Oh, gosh. Let me see. The light bringer. Bring the light. The devil. Lucifer. Divine intervention is the light bringer. Page of Cups. Oh, so what? Here's the thing about it. That type of scenario, punishing yourself. You may have some type of Sufi energy in your past life. This situation or any type of, you know, low vibrational experience is designed to shift you into remembrance of what you can do to come up out of that and live your greatest life. But if you sit in it in the essence of victimhood, martyrdom syndrome, you're going to constantly look at it on some, but why did they do this to me? Why not you? If your destiny is to live abundant and free, why not you go through this type of training experience that possibly for some of you, okay, that's not going to be for all, 66:55 on the timer, what you experience of someone doing to you, you did to someone else in a past life. Especially if their rising sign, I'm getting strongly for that, their rising sign is your south node. Because it tells you where you fucked up at in the past too. Okay? Just so. Let's see. You release it, see it for what it is, and without denying the difficulties, accept the situation and people exactly as they are without denying the difficulties. That the difficult part of it is there's something within you that invited that shit in anyway. So what you do is, I bet I gave you the key. That's on me. Now we're gonna change the locks and the type of key that you can use to come up through this here vibe, because this you're no longer welcome here. Okay, we have evolved. We're not doing the shit we did before. 6:55. Yeah. Partnerships and alliances. 3 of Wands. There goes that. That was at the bottom of the deck when we was talking earlier. Partnerships and alliances. Foundation card. Ooh, yeah, you really got to be mindful right now. Just so you don't build the same partnerships you've been building before, or you literally built it yourself energetically, as within, so without. You called it in. Do you see the, okay. Do you see the type of energy that's flowing through these two hands? One is lifting one person up, and the other one has access to bring that other motherfucker down. But the energetic exchange behind all of this is connected to one's Akashic records and them tapping into their clear inner knowing so they can step into their higher heart energy, their crown energy of knowing why this particular relationship is even in your life. And why is it that you are calling in a certain type of vibration. This would also be the merge of the shadow and the light, with this heart energy here being the hand that's lifting the frequency up. But you can only lift the frequency up or get those other wheels of the lower chakras beneath the heart rolling and going when you're activated to it. You can only get that going once you are in alignment to your heart chakra, because now you make decisions for yourself. You're not gonna, look for people to be the foundation you build your security on. 71, 70, 11 on the timer. You see yourself as that rooted and grounded energy that you can solidify yourself in. When you do that, this is when you have even better partnerships and alliances that come into your life. Patience and planning here at the bottom of the deck, Saturn and Taurus. Yeah, these partnerships and alliances of the past, so from, or what you used to build your ideology in terms of an actual partnership, it was a lesson for you. a lesson of your self-worth. Let me see what's the immediate past energy. Okay. There goes the moon Sagittarius vibes. That's okay. All right. Spiritual strength. Overextended your spiritual strength in this situation. Due to getting someone to understand where you're coming from. Prosperity begins because you saw what was on the way and you wanted so much to have that experience with this particular energy. See, you got 9-9 showing up here, but 9-4 is also coming through again. 9 of Wands, 4 of Wands. You may have assisted people who didn't really reciprocate the energy, where you may feel as though you were taken advantage of. In terms of misuse of spiritual strength. You may have told this person no, and the moment you told them no, the moment you told them something about themselves, they really felt some type of way. And either they directly said something about it or subtly make certain gestures or statements about it. Even if you're not physically around this energy, you can sense what's going on regardless. That could also be a part of your journey where you are awakening to becoming a seer, an oracle, an alchemist, where you're placed into these specific situations just so you can be tested on the way you'll respond to a situation that you are becoming aware of from a etheric cord energy type of vibes, where you can sense what's going on around you even if it's not physically near you. Where now things are showing up in your dream state, even clarifying things more for you. You could also be a reader where now you are seeing who's who. You may have ignored this in the past. You may have been in situations where people have seen your spiritual strength and where this was going to take you. And they got really offended by that because they felt as though that they were somebody that they can teach. Show me more. Yeah, big time. The High Priestess shows up. Yep. And memories of love. 6 of Cups. This is a soul contract that had to happen. Yeah, for you to remember, reestablish where you are at energetically when it comes to your gifts. Immediate past, spiritual strength, and intuition. So much so that before you even entered into this energy, this partnership and alliance, you already knew the way it was going to turn out. You already knew the way it was going to turn out. I wouldn't say you went against your intuition, but more so is the vibe of allowing someone to have their free will, not because you are in charge of that, but more so because you have this awareness. You may have wanted to give the person a chance to, you know. You may have wanted to give the person a chance, but that was also a test in terms of Now, as you move forward and you sense this type of vibration, fuck the chances. Okay? You ain't giving nobody no more chances. Okay? Let's clarify that. Clarify the immediate past with spiritual strength and intuition. Not yet? Okay, not yet. We'll see. What's crowning the energy here? What's at the forefront of this collective's mind? Wow. Destiny showing up sideways as a challenge. Your destiny. Well, the answer to this question that is within you, inside you, that's going to be your listen to your sun placement for this Saturn in retrograde breakdown for all the signs. Trying to see. So you got two children or one? I mean, 2 children or 3. My mother with 2 children. Boy and a girl. The girl is the eldest, it seems. She's a bit taller. But anyway, okay. Yeah. What's at the forefront is what's the next step? Destiny. You're in this challenging position about your next step because of the patience it requires. Just don't rush during this Saturn in retrograde Aries phase. Don't rush what must be rooted. Don't rush anything that first the seed has to be planted, has to grow its roots for it to grow. And it's also the phase of reclaiming your authentic yes and sacred no. And the way you're going to be rebuilding your foundation is through self-trust. So if what's at the forefront of your mind is what is the next step, rebuild your foundation off self-trust. You may even have to journal, what does it mean for you to trust yourself? Now they may have you writing down what it is that you desire or the steps that you would have to take to live the life that you truly desire to live. Not the one you have to survive. Stand your ground. A lot of fire energy showing up. We have Aries and we got all 3. Sagittarius is in the immediate past. Crowning the energy is Leo. Current energy, foundation, Aries. Current energy, foundation is based off of you, your identity. What's at the forefront of your mind is your willpower. What brings you joy? You could, asking yourself what brings you joy. When it comes to the immediate past, it's a vision you have. You may have suppressed it. It may be something that is so simple. Just know you're in the age of simplicity, especially when you are connected to what you know. Aquarius says, I know. Because I'm hearing some of you have conversations with people where you talk about what it is that you know, what you desire to do. And immediately right after that, you say, I guess, I don't know, careful with that. Stop doing that. You immediately negate what you're saying. You know, we have knowledge of. You place yourself in a state of mental conflict or confusion. What's next here for the collective? What's next for the collective? It went over here. media pass and the challenge. You don't know where you're deceiving yourself. This is the Seven of Swords, Moon and Aquarius. Well, what we just said was basically a way of doing that. Immediately expressing verbiage right after you are connecting to a desire and connecting it to the energy of doubt. Victory and success. 6 of Wands. What's in the center? Emotional loss. What are they holding on to? Some strong heart energy. As soon as I did this, I felt the energy of someone being nervous. Some of you have because your victory and success comes from you telling your story, but you may have some sort of stage fright where you're shy to talk in front of people. Suffering in silence. And you're ignoring your sacral responses, which is why you're frustrated right now. If you're frustrated, it's simply because you're not responding to your sacral in the state of it wanting to create based off the mystery or the story of your emotions, which would be you sharing your story with the collective. Because in this shift where you are being guided to help others in their transition, this is why it's important for you to step to the plate, for you to step it up, because you specifically have a collective that is assigned to you per se. And if we're talking about lifting up the energy of the planet when it comes to humanity that dwells within it, on it, or whatever you want to say about it, your role is connected to a significant group or collective. What's behind this? Wow. 519, that's Saturn in Taurus, third decan Taurus energy. I just heard it's gonna hit you as a ton of bricks right now. 7-11. When you become aware of the energy that is being removed from you in the moment of solitude, or the energy that's being dissolved out of you when it comes to a certain habit, with Virgo energy, the Hermit here. Pisces, sacrifice, 12. You making it out the mud. But there's something here about shifting into making more choices and not sacrifices. There's a difference. Those choices would connect to a sacred no when you usually say yeah. The sacrifice is you saying yes to what you want to say no to. Which literally shifts the dynamic from the way you were raised and the way you would hear what allows, a parent to support their children, the sacrifices they have to make. But that all comes from being within the system that doesn't allow oneself to know the truth about themselves, where struggle is unnecessary, working hard is unnecessary. You only work hard when you're doing something that places you in a position to compete with everyone else instead of doing what is authentic to you. Now you can thrive in that. Can I have one more here for this? Your challenge in the immediate future has to do with the decision. You've been suffering in silence about this, and that's only leading you to deceiving yourself. And the way that translates in your external world, these partnerships and alliances that you connect to are envious ones. When you deceive yourself, the partnerships and the alliances you walk into are envious. Relationships or partnerships or acquaintances. The sacral chakra. The 14th could have been significant because 2 and 7 is 14 and 7, 14 right now. Monday. Luna Day. Working with the moon cycles and especially with Luna Day, Monday. Working with that actual moon cycle, moon phase, moon energy on Luna Day. So you're not rushing what must be rooted. In that sense, you could even connect to the almanac, farmer's almanac, and it shows you the phases of planting. You know, what element to connect to within each phase. Obviously, if it's in a fire sign, it'll be fire. If it's in an earth sign, it'll be earth. If it's in an air sign, air. If it's in a water sign, water. Even feeding your body, you know, within that cycle. I feel as though these these agents are also connected to those who want to talk about the moon being this and the moon being that. All right, whatever. Just want to overcomplicate shit. Anyway, it's neither here or there. At the heart chakra, yeah. And we got the solar plexus. Chakras. Just align the chakras, honey. Okay? In order for you to get to the heart. So you're working with the other 3. You have a solid foundation. 4, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart. You really want to work on your sacral and your solar plexus, okay? With the sacral, you can work with your Jupiter placement. With the solar plexus, you work with your Mars placement. And when it comes to your sacral, it speaks to fluidity, grace, creativity, depth of feeling, sexual fulfillment, and the ability to accept change. You must release guilt. Solar plexus, you want to release shame. Especially in matters of where you are unable to express your emotions freely and respectfully, which will prevent you from realizing that your talents bring you joy. Your natural born talents and gifts bring you joy. Do you know what that is? And the response should be effortless. If it isn't, okay, there's something obviously for you to do now. Get familiar with what is your lesson to be rooted and grounded, 717 Saturn. What's going to allow you to utilize your willpower to take the proper action, Mars. And where does your reward, abundance, and expansion come from when it comes to you integrating the lesson? That main lesson overall, doesn't matter what sign it's in, is going to be with faith. Integrating the lessons, Jupiter. okay, which is your sacral. Jupiter is connected to the sacral. It brings forth expansion. It's a giver. It wants to make things abundant. It may even be you may have gone through a lot of shit in the past where you stopped giving and you are naturally a giver. Watch the movie The Giver, because some of you, oh shit, here we go. Some of you carry the energy of bringing in the vibration to people's lives that in a sense gives them their dreams back. Where you literally, your essence brings forth the truth of themselves. And you may have been activating within these people the lower vibration because you weren't fully aware of the power you have. Watch The Giver. That's my favorite book from the 6th grade. And the movie is also what was a few years ago on Netflix. Amazing movie. Amazing. The book even better, but amazing movie. Okay. So let's see what your advice is. Okay. Let's see what the advice is. I mean, overall, the way that card just stood up, this is going to answer the way you stand your ground. It came out in a challenging position. Obviously, this has to do with the next step that you take, your destination, that changes the fate that you feel as though you probably have right now. But you change your fate based off of the next step that you take, the destination that you go towards. The message is, oh shit. They said your energy is higher than that. You don't have to wish for nothing. Just desire it and align with the version of you in a different universe or parallel universe. Parallel dimension perception. Parallel dimension perception that easily brings that into your life without you wishing for it. Oh, you getting magical over here. Look at all these 9s. So you're learning a lesson of being in solitude, being comfortable, more than comfortable, feeling the luxury of solitude, because that's the 9s is up here. In order for you to recognize the best decision for you, your next step, you have to see the gratitude, the peace and harmony that comes from solitude. This is a vibe of living a false life. Some could be living a false life based off of a message that they trusted to receive from a so-called high priestess, but not so much. Something as simple as what I'm receiving right now is 722. Someone who was told that they were being spiritually attacked when that really wasn't the fucking case. It was just a certain level of perception that this person had that was calling a certain type of vibration. Once again, deceiving oneself. The way that looks in your external world is that you have partnerships and alliances that are envious of you. Now, that message could have been relayed as far as, oh, they're spiritually attacking it. So you can come back to them again, figuring shit out over and over again. Come again, Lauryn Hill. Mm-hmm. Watch out. Mm-mm, you want me. Mm-mm. That thing. When's Lawrence? Let's see. Whoa. Eight of Swords. May 26th. Jupiter and Gemini. East Orange, New Jersey could be significant in this matter too. 1998. Shit. So let's say you are someone who knows the type of protection you have over you. Even so much to the point of the test that you will encounter when it comes to the spiritual community. And there were moments where you felt as though you wanted to clap back per se, but you didn't. These energies and vibrations that chose to go against you, even after you've gone through the process of evolution, they just kept wanting to poke the bear. They're gonna wish you clapped back based off of the way the energy has to return back to its sender. Especially once you regain the essence and power that you have over your mind. Not that your mind has over you. Because in this sense, it would be some type of spell, because it's a spell in terms of a conversation or some level of communication that placed you into being out of alignment when it comes to your creativity and what brings you joy with the sacral and the solar plexus. It's something about the way a situation was handled was from a lower vibration. 9919 on the timer. And you're closing out that cycle here completely to step back into your identity, your authenticity. Because before, what the impression you gave and what people saw, 727, when that honk was going on, 727. What people saw based on the impression that you were giving, they may have deceived themselves in regards to the impression that you were giving. What do I mean by that? They may have felt as though y'all were on the same path. It would be, is the best way I could explain it right now. Waiting game, Mars and Aries. It would be looking at the angels of the four corners. Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel, Michael. This will be a vibe of Michael feeling as though he got control over Uriel. When that ain't the case, everybody got their own fucking corner. That type of vibe. And now it seems as though you were sent into a position spiritually to be a protector over this person, per se. That was part of the soul contract. That's all they had to do, was to release where they would feel as though that they can control someone. You both had a lesson here, obviously. One has the lesson of seeing how far they've come, and the other one is, okay, do you now see where you're repeating this lesson again? Show me more about the advice. The root chakra. Don't rush what must root. Don't rush the lesson. How is this lesson being rushed? How is Judgment and King of Pentacles? The sacral. See, this would be an example of someone telling you what you're destined for. And when you look at your natal chart, you see that shit was a lie. When you see the way that you're designed, you really get to see who's truly tapped into source and who's doing certain things from an ego-driven standpoint. Jaru. For that, you will always be part of me, mind, body, and soul. What in the bondage is going the fuck on here? It's attachment that leads to fear. That's the reason for the attachment. Yeah, this is a lesson about not rushing the process when it comes to where one should be in life based on their worth. What are you saying? It's coming through as don't quit just right before your blessings come. But the quitting or the quick shift in direction, the quick change in direction only happens because someone doesn't feel rooted and grounded and constantly looks for this security of being rooted and grounded in others rather than themselves. The answer you need to any question is inside you. You just have to trust yourself. You just have to trust yourself. Because when it comes to, okay, Judgment with the King of Pentacles. This could be someone being rushed to do something to bring forth expansion, and your alignment, your cosmic alignment at that time has a lot of 12th house energy, which is a time for you to rest. 7:33. You learned a major lesson that you are guided to guide others when it comes to trusting your spirit, or what it means to have a spiritual connection and spiritual discipline. You could be experiencing the essence of the Pisces phase, the retrograde Pisces phase, within Aries phase, especially if you're someone who, let's say you've already taken what one would call the leap of faith, but each time you take that leap of faith is as if you hit a wall, but you may not even realize why you hit a wall. So that would be an example of someone who's experiencing the Saturn retrograde phase in Pisces, because you don't really have too much to work on when it comes to the Aries phase. It's easy for you to, say no when you want to say no. You don't have much of an issue rooting what must be grounded and rebuilding your foundation from self-trust. But the Saturn in Pisces phase, that's about fasting from illusion, releasing digital, emotional, and energetic noise, strengthening your spiritual discipline without being so rigid, and reweaving your etheric spine through breathwork, sacred baths, and forgiveness. Okay? So you may have this strong wall up around you where it's easy for you to say no. That's why it's so easy for you to say no, because you don't want nobody fucking with you. But now you're in a phase where you can release those walls and now create boundaries, sacred boundaries, where now you don't even have to place yourself in a position to say no from a defensive space or from your wounds. So that was the lesson here that's being learned. Yeah, you went through the opposite of your authentic expression in order to recognize. It's basically you seeing the problem and there's no solution because you're the one with the solution. It's say if you're working for a company and they're doing something a certain way and nobody has the idea or taking the initiative to shift so that way the process is much smoother. It's because you are placed in this position to bring forth that enlightenment, which will also translate to you becoming your own company. Yeah. So get rerouted and grounded, because there's something here about what you have already fulfilled. You surpassed that. This could even be where you are around people who constantly talk about their past success or accomplishments because they're not doing anything new in their life. Or if that's you, obviously it's time for you to, memories, it's time for you to do something new. Step into the next version, continue to evolve. The more you're evolving, the more you're expressing love. What's in the environment here? Oh, shit. I love to see that. A beautiful opportunity that's going to bring you joy. The Sun card is an opportunity where you'll be able to reclaim your authentic yes. This would be where you are trusting the inner fire within yourself when it comes to what you're feeling, especially with the Sun in Cancer right now. And moving based off of that intuition that's coming through that frequency, because Cancer also is the archetype of the High Priestess. 919. And the High Priestess here is in your immediate past. You now have the spiritual strength to bring forth, call in a partnership where you'll be able to express your authentic yes, because it's in alignment to your authentic self. Oh, yeah. Okay. Shout out to y'all. Okay? Especially, you know, listening to these messages, these transmissions, and it's allowing you. Shout out to all of you for your lovely cash apps. 11130. I love you all. Infinite abundance back to y'all. Okay. So shout out to y'all. When you are listening to any of these messages and you feel your soul say yes and you take action, because the way this is showing up here right now, that's the main message. Trust yourself, because at the forefront of your mind, it was destiny in a sideways position, which is basically you not really sure what the next step is. But the fact that stand your ground stood right there. Mars and Leo. Protect what brings you joy. Protect that inner child. Because that inner child is roaring right now from that royal expression. And this is a spiritual union that's happening within you. Let's make sure that we are aware of what this spiritual union is. Because you see they head to head on that mind's eye, which means that you're right in your left brain on. In that 5D, that's what the 5D is. When the right brain and the left brain get together and they make love, that's unity. That's unconditional love. But that only comes through when you are in alignment here, because you have to cross the bridge. So what do you have to do to cross the bridge here? In crossing the bridge, guidance for crossing the bridge. Why are we saying crossing? Because someone is sitting in this energy, sitting in it, but moving as though they're not grounded. So you're in between worlds? Yeah, you're in between worlds. Well, that's why you're here. Okay. You're in between, expressing your truth, heart and throat. Because there's a clearing of distortion in the communication of divine truth. Coño. Some of you, it's as simple as watching something that makes you laugh. That baby podcast be having me rolling. Where they be doing dad jokes. Shit was hilarious. Let's see. Guidance for crossing the bridge. The eagle. Shit. Leadership, spirituality, and clarity. To cross the bridge, you are being guided to let go of emotional attachment and connect to divine inspiration. Fly high above the restraints of yourself and society. Look for moments of truth and act upon them. From your elevated vantage point, balance, harmony, and joy can be easily found. Look at this. And with the mountains in the back, it's showing crown energy. That's the way you're going to stand your ground for yourself in the sense of what path to take. The path right now that you're being asked to focus on is to let go of emotional attachment. You got that message twice. You got it twice, especially with the sheep. because you seem to be someone who is compassionate and gentle. However, you could be around unproductive relationships that's making you, you know what I'm saying? When all you really want to, when all you desire to do is just to be in peace and harmony. So, that's why it's the message of crossing the bridge. Because in order to step into the 5D, that spiritual union coming together, you're going to have to choose your peace over anything. Show me more about what's in the environment with the sun card, 744. The lexicon that's connected to the lion, Leo lion energy with the sun. And Leo energy shows up here in your ground position. We were just talking about. Standing your ground has to do with the decisions you make. The decision is to let go of emotional attachments and connect to divine inspiration. Emotional attachments. Yo, I heard this was it a shaman say this the other day about what they connected to most when it came to their spiritual journey was that you don't hold on to anything, not even your breath. Whenever you inhale, you must exhale. So there's nothing that you can hold on to in this existence. I said, well, shit. And we stop shuffling at heartache and loss. So Saturn in Libra. Obstacles and challenges in relationships one-on-one because of being out of alignment to the true self. The axis of Libra it includes Aries. So Aries and Libra, I balance. You bring balance into relationships when you are in connection to your I am that I am, or your God frequency. Anything other than that's going to be a karmic connection or lesson. Okay. Not her with the hands though. These hands is out here now. Okay. Look at the other one. All right. What else? It landed right on top of partnerships and alliances. Not the fucking third. Well, yeah, you're really in between, okay? So, since there is a clearing distortions in communication, literally came up with this, and the sun energy reveals, purifies, cleanses with the fire energy. You're going to be presented with an opportunity where you would normally speak to be understood, and you choose not to. That's huge. That's connected to a superpower in itself. For real. Where, because think about the energy that your body surges up, 747, when you are expressing yourself to be understood. What you're literally digging for is the responsibility you have when it comes to yourself, of understanding yourself, of where you are literally. rooted and grounded, creative, flowing in your creation, amazing love in your life as well, while also having the willpower to trust your gut and do what brings you joy. It's very easy for one to look for that elsewhere, and that comes to getting someone to understand you, especially when you're going through these spiritual awakenings and you find yourself having to distance yourself from those that you love. It's not saying that you love them any less, because love just is. When it's true love, it just is. It's not based off a condition, you know. So with that being said, just let go of wanting people to get where you're coming from. And you'll find that your nervous system becomes much calmer, because now you're more connected to standing your ground, knowing what decisions you have to make. You got to choose wisely here at the bottom of the deck. There's an opportunity coming your way for you to connect to your authentic, sacred yes and no. Sacred, sacral, root chakra, red. You saying yes when you want to say yes and no, when you saying yes when you desire to say yes, and you saying no when you desire to say no, is going to reconnect you in the activation of your root and your sacral chakra. So this is Saturn and your Jupiter. So this would be you having your abundance, but being spiritually disciplined to allow it to continue to grow, where it's not just a one-hit wonder type of thing. No, sorry. Oh, yeah. It didn't come out, and I know exactly why. Because some of you are possibly going to resist whatever this is you have to cut out of your life, because of the emotional intensity and the attachment that comes with it. If there's no thing in this world you can hold on to, are you actually experiencing a loss? Or more so, igniting your remembrance? I'm talking to your higher self right now. Let's see. Yeah, conflict and defeat. That's what this is. Literally an opportunity where this is a no. This is coming through as you saying no to something that you normally say yes to. I'm also getting, in matters of a relationship, of someone you feel you and them are soulmates or twin flames, whichever label you want to give to them. However, it could be someone that you constantly went back and forth with, but you're being really guided to ask yourself. You go back and forth, and it's for this reason and this reason only. Because the same shit is happening from the first time you left, or there was a separation. So why continue to go back to that? What is it within you that is seeking a change in that? And recalibrate all of that by changing what it is that is within you that is constantly connecting you to that energy, and saying yes to it every time when your spirit, your soul keeps telling you, no, don't go there. Okay? Yeah. It's a soul contract that you came into this lifetime to bring an end to. Learn what you learned from it and move on. Remember what you remember from it. when it comes to the truth of you. Let me see what's in this hopes and fears position as to why I'm seeing this conflict and defeat too. This is additional advice. If you don't rush what must be rooted and grounded. For some of you, that's what's going to hype you up to say yes. Is someone moving really quickly when it comes to, you know, building a foundation together. You got firm foundation and foundations and achievements showing up. So this could be, yo, literally on the brink of changing your entire life around. And Mercury retrograde is tomorrow. That's where the 717 was coming from. Okay. 8 and 4 is 12. Pisces defeat. Yeah. Okay. So obviously when you have issues with your feet and they guide you to move forward, or they help you with mobility, that's obviously an accumulation of stagnancy. If you're someone who, once again, has been experiencing an on and off situation with your feet, I want you to take note of the energies that are around when that sensation comes up. Because some of you, this is also where you're tuning into your gifts as far as what you feel through your body. You know, because each part of the body is connected to a sign, you know what I'm saying? Zodiac sign, the wheel, showing you which direction to go. So accelerated motion, that's Mercury and Sagittarius, is fast communication and firm foundation. It's something that comes in that is in connection to why you would say to this yes in the past. And the moment that you are aware of Saturn's lesson in your life, it's easy for you to say no. It seems as though, because the waiting game, they're showing me the waiting game. You've been waiting for something for a while. Shift your perception. Stop waiting and keep aligning. Stop waiting. Just keep aligning. Keep living in that energy. That's faith. That's the Jupiter type of test. Are you going to continue to have faith in this? For when it comes through, your life expands. What Jupiter energy we have up here? That would have been the Eight of Swords, which is where Lauryn Hill energy came through. First Deacon Gemini. But in tarot, the Eight of Swords speaks to being trapped in fear. This is something you used to say yes to when you were trapped in fear. You moved on from that. Okay, so this is why you feel as though you're unable to make a decision. Okay, why is this here? Wow. Material harvest. 9 of Pentacles, 757. We saw all the pairs. We saw all of them from 1 to 5. So the divine is working on you from your root to your throat chakra. So right now you're in the phase of the clearing of any distorted communication with divine inspiration. That's why these situations are coming up in your environment to be revealed to you. What was causing a level of conflict that would have you feeling defeated, even if this is something you don't express to people. Because I truly feel that there is a a wonderful experience that you're also calling in. So you're calling in the duality. You're calling in two sides because you're shifting out of the 3D. You're shifting out of the 3D where things are separate. And you're coming into union, 4, 5D and beyond. When you come into union, you recognize the process of you getting there. And it feels as though this opportunity is coming in just for you to clearly see your power. So that way now when you step into the 60, you recognize that you are the artist and the canvas, the art and the canvas, the artist. Everyone is, every single vessel here came to be an artist in the sense of being the most authentic expression of yourself, literally. Because the way I see time, it's an illusion. Illusion is art. And there's certain art pieces that you have to, certain things that have been created in the essence of time. You did something you make. People say this all the time, I don't have time for it. But you keep making time for the bullshit, you're going to keep getting bullshit. So make time for being the artist, bringing into this world the essence of your soul. This is why you're here to remember and not necessarily be taught. Obviously, the word teaching comes around. For some, you'll feel the vibrational shift of what's being said, in the sense of when you look at who teaches is a teacher. But that also comes from the energy of education. But when you look at the way education is, majority, it's pouring in to students rather than bringing out. So the teaching is pouring into that student and not allowing that student to express themselves or bring out whatever it is that is within them. Just so annoying. So as long as that's continuing to happen, there has to be teachings. Because if we go a little bit further into this, that can only be so, the matters of teaching, as long as they continue to keep people disconnected or separate, that's 3D energy, from the truth. To keep one in the 3D is to keep one separated from the truth. Okay. Because everything in nature is doing what it's supposed to do, and it's not forcing to do it. The only things that is throwing off that rhythm, humanity. The stars just shine. The sun rises and it sets. The moon rises and it sets. The waters flow. They do what they do. But is humanity doing that? Some. But we gonna increase that. What's the outcome? We gonna increase that vibe. What's the outcome? Just wanted a few that makes sense to my soul. Much love and gratitude to you, beloved. You had a ladybug in your right house slipper right before bed. Wow. Look at this. The outcome is your passion being ignited when you remember. That's what's happening. The reignition of remembrance, passion. See? We was talking about this in the beginning, and let the disruption come in. Wasn't Maple in Gematria 116? Hold the fuck up. Y'all wait a minute. It was. poison. Some of you got a strong connection to Medusa too, where you're balancing the venom and the healing serum. 116, by coming out of the doorway of confusion, Babylon 116. Yo, you a disruption to this in EA. I told you. Yeah, but okay. So y'all got your own destiny and y'all path. Okay. I'm just here to decode whatever I can so you can go about your business and go be greater than great. Okay? Let's continue to uplift and expand the essence of unconditional and harmony on this here planet, because it's already happening around us beyond the planet. So yeah, no. Okay. Welcome, Jamie. Wow, the outcome is the Ace of Wands. A reawakening. That's Ace of Wands is a reawakening. So this obviously, that's why this message came out this way, because it's not your first rodeo. You've possibly lived even 9 lifetimes in this particular one, just to clear out any type of distortion that's been going on. Yeah. Rest and rejuvenate. Ooh. Anything that you're doing right now and it instantly activates exhaustion or feeling burnt out, just take it as a sign that you are out of alignment. You know the saying that people have when they are doing what they love to do, it doesn't seem as though it's work? That's what this is. 14. Anything that must be rooted and grounded cannot be rushed. 14. Temperance, which comes right before temptation or the devil card. But when this is activated accordingly, telling you that fucking series Lucifer is amazing, because towards the end, Lucy, the light bringer, realizes as the bringer of light that they are here to heal demons. Heal that which is in hell. Hell is your lower chakras, literally. Y'all, Lucy in the face as. What are the colors of fire? Just saying. Because what made that come to the surface, even on a deeper level, I mentioned this in the previous video, the main blockage is here for majority of humanity, which is why people get into certain relationships or don't, or the relationships that they do get into is because of a forced relationship in the beginning, or because of a certain type of tumultuous situation, quote unquote heartbreak, but your heart it doesn't break. And it's not something that opens or closes. It's always there. Because if the heart was to close, you not breathing. Feel me? Oh, bullshit. But in the show, Lucifer says to this guy who is basically on his knees, begging him to take away this guilt that he's been carrying, or torture that he has him in, blaming the devil, Lucifer, what is called in the series, blaming Lucifer for the torture. And Lucifer tells the guy who's a person who unalives people, tells him, it's not that I'm placing you in torture. The souls torture them, or people torture themselves because of their guilt. And what blocks the sacral? Guilt. When people are taught about sexuality, it comes from a space of you're not supposed to do this and you're not supposed to do that. And then how the fuck are humans created? So that's sign number one in terms of, you know, diminishing population or not allowing the energy of source to experience itself by teaching people to be afraid of creation itself and making them feel guilty when they don't go by what's being told in the church, their parents, whomever. Which is why I said in that other live, go back to the way you were taught about it. Because it's also going to connect you to, you know what I'm saying, the homeboys and the homegirls you was connected with, the type of peer pressure you was under, the possible bullying that you went through because you wasn't doing it. It's so much shit that can unravel from that. But allow yourself to rest and rejuvenate, because your passion is being ignited through your reawakening. It's always a pleasure, because that's also sacral chakra energy. It's always a pleasure to deliver these messages for you, okay? And we'll wrap this up here with one final message of guidance. That's Jupiter right there, though. Rest and rejuvenate, Jupiter. We were just talking about that. Integrate the lessons you've learned, remembered. The lessons you came here to. Integrating the lessons you have remembered, the reason why you even came here to evolve as a soul. And to evolve as a soul, the word backwards, love, minus the extra E. You came here to express love. E being the fifth letter, that's throat chakra energy. You literally came here to evolve as a soul. To evolve as a soul is to express love. I'm leaving. It's 8:11. Listen, y'all can only imagine the way I be over here when I don't be live. The bear, I'm telling you. The bear. Unconditional love, playful and protective. You are being guided to rest and enjoy yourself 2 times. Okay? Rest and enjoy yourself and others. Create balance in your life and follow your truths. So that way you can intuitively know when and how to take inspired actions. You have immense inner wisdom and physical strength. And what the owl told you, that the answer to any question is inside you. You are the magic key that unlocks the doors to unconditional love. Okay? So go out there, be great, phenomenal, amazing, beautiful, handsome, divine, prosperous, luxurious, fine as fuck. And I'll see you on the next live. 144. I just went to 45.